Yeah, had to land and come here, and then free time to go back up.
Flying to Norway?
Yeah.
You really?
Yeah, out of Norwood, a little Bedford. Yeah, pretty fun.
How often do you get out?
As much as I can. As much as I can. As much as I can.
What do you fly?
No, serious. Yeah, SR20.
So what got you into it?
I mean, I've always grown up like anything with a motor in it. I try to do it. You know, jet skis, boats, motorcycles, four wheelers. I've kind of done it all, and so got the opportunity, kind of dug into it. And as soon as I went up for my discovery flight, like it bit me, and I was like, yeah, this is something I love doing.
Where did you go to school? Where did you learn?
Started at Norwood. Actually started here in Norwood, and then I finished up in Atlanta during the offseason. Yeah.
So off-season program, just sort of you're getting started here. What are your thoughts on sort of just initially what you've seen?
Yeah. I mean, it's just that time. It's early. You know what I mean? Everyone's coming in, is working hard. Just evaluating. You know, the new guys are getting into the system. Just getting to know everybody, getting to know your teammates. I think a big part of this part of the season is just getting trust in your teammates, that they know what they're doing, beginning to learn, and then build those relationships off the field. You know, I think that's a big part early.
What are your first impressions of those new guys, 3 guys from the draft class in your position group?
They've come in, day 2 of them really being in. They've come in, the meetings, they're trying to answer questions, they're participating, and that's a start. That's a start.
Did you meet Christian especially so far?
Yeah, all the guys have been in there, we met them all. And like I said, they've all just bought in, answering questions, asking questions and just trying to learn.
Have you felt Dev McCourty's presence missed here so far?
Oh, man, Dev, it's hard not to. You know what I mean? Dev is just one of those guys, even if he's in the room and he's not speaking, you notice that he's there. So we definitely missed that presence. Guys are having to step up.
Are you the elder statesman in the secondary now?
It looks like it. I mean, it looks like it. I look around and I'm like, God, my guys are gone. But he's kind of left a legacy. And even some of the other guys, that have played with him and been here, AP, Doug, those guys, they've got an opportunity to kind of leech off of him and get a lot of information from him.
Do you feel a little bit more of a responsibility now that you are that kind of elder statesman in the room to have that leadership voice or whatnot?
A little bit. When we start to talk about the history and how things have been, I think a lot of the guys look at me as the guy that's kind of been around, had some experience and done a few things. So you begin to look around and it's a lot of young guys and you're like, I'm not that old yet. But so yeah, they kind of look up to you and they want answers. They want answers, and the young guys come in, they're hungry.
What did Devin teach you that you can pass along to the younger generation?
I think for Devin, it was just that consistency. I've come in and I've watched him, going 7 years of just watching him come in and day out. And I mean, you guys can attest to this. Devin was the same person every day. Every day he came in the media, he addressed you guys the same. He was that same way in the locker room. So just having that consistency.
John, when it comes to exerting leadership, what have you learned about leadership from your own standpoint, with your own voice, so to speak?
Yeah. My take on it is not much what you say, is what you do. A lot of people will watch what you do, and when you come in the building, how you come in the building, how you carry yourself here, and then how you carry yourself away from here. So just being that same consistent person and giving those guys something to look up to.
Considering where you are today, I mean, how you've gotten to this point, you came in undrafted, made your impact on the kicking game, cornerback, couple of contracts now, an established pro. When you look back and from that point to this point, how do you sum it up? How do you describe your journey?
Just as a journey. It's been, a roller coaster ride, ups and downs. But I've had a good group of guys around me that I look to. Devin, any problem I have, whether it's on the field or off the field, I could look over and say, well, there's Devin. There's Pat. There's those guys, Hightower. So it made it easier for me as a young guy just to sit back and watch and learn and see what it meant, not just to be a Patriot, but to be a good man on and off the field. So I had a lot of good examples.
Where do you hope? Do you have to play on the outside again this year?
My answer to that is I get to play football. Anytime I get to go out there, in between those lines, I love it. So I'm not really particularly worried about where I play and where I end up. I just like to be out there with my teammates.
What about free agency? I think you signed a little bit before free agency maybe began. So, I mean, did you always want to be a Patriot? Was there any chance of you leaving?
No, I think, when you're a part of a place like this that has the tradition and I know, what they expect from me, and it makes it easier. When you go into a place and there's been consistency, it just makes it easier decision.
We're coming up to your most statistical, best season with numbers and all that. What do you need to do, or what do you want to do to just build on that? You know, how do you ever approach this to sort of take what you do next season and just add another step?
I think for me, just continue to learn. I think the opportunity this year is to be able to look, more at things outside during the off season, and just, be a well-rounded person. Continue to learn the defense, learn the history, learn other offenses, learn, as much as I can, just absorb as much knowledge as I can.
Have they asked you to take Christian or any of the other rookies under your wing or anything like that?
No, I think they've kind of just more look at the guys who've done it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good guys that they can look up to, and if they choose me, I'm going to be there no matter what.
John, as a cornerback, what is your reaction when the draft comes and the team's first-round pick is a cornerback?
We need it. We need help. We need all the help that we could get. We had a lot of transition in that position over the last few years, and just we need it. We need a little bit of help.
As a cornerback, what's it like seeing Aaron Rodgers come into the division?
A lot more competition. It feels good, Every Sunday you get to go out there and compete, and just to have one of the all-time greats, in your division, makes it fun, something to look forward to.
I mean, have you seen the list of quarterbacks you guys are playing this fall?
Oh, it's a good list. It's a good list. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
When you guys get on the field next week and for all OTA practices and minicamp, what's going to make that a successful time? Like, what do you want to see leave the spring and go, we had a really good set of practices?
I think just getting better day by day. Just coming in and improving. See where we start on Monday, and hope that when we leave here, at the end of the June, it doesn't look the same. And that's kind of a good indicator, heading into the fall.
So did you say at the beginning, I missed it, that you got your pilot license?
Yeah, I did.
How long does that process take?
It just depends. It depends on your opportunity, availability that you can kind of get in and get it done.
How many flight hours you have to do or something
Like the minimum is 40. Most people do it around 60. So yeah.
When did you get your license?
I think I was around 60, 65 hours.
February, March?
April, the beginning of April, yeah. So yeah, it's been fun.
So when you take weekend trips home or whatever, you fly yourself?
That's the ultimate goal. I haven't made it from here back home yet, but just hop around here, Martha's Vineyard, get around. Yeah. All right, perfect.
Favorite place you flew to?
Oh, probably Martha's Vineyard. It was, get to go out and explore Boston a little bit. It was fun.
Perfect. Jack last season showed a lot of promise, but obviously a bit of a difficult end to the season for him. As a leader in that room, how can you help him kind of get back onto the track that he was earlier in the year?
Just to be there for him. Anything that he needs, whether it be on the field or off the field, just to show him, what it is to be, a New England Patriot cornerback, a player, and just a professional, in this league, and just watch him continue to grow. Heading into year 2, you just want to see growth.
We talked to Juwan last week, and he's a guy who was obviously captain before, could take on a bigger role with Devin, from a leadership standpoint, Devin being gone. What have you seen from him the last couple of years? What do you make of Juwan?
He's come in under some great guys. Like I said, Hightower, he got to sit back and watch him be a leader, and he's taking on that role so well. He comes in every day. He works. He doesn't say too much all the time, but when he does, it's impactful.
Have you noticed a change? Like, does he say maybe a little bit more? We've heard that with guys who get a little bit more comfortable in that role.
Definitely. You hear his voice a little bit more. Like I said, that he had to fill in that gap for guys who are no longer here, and he's definitely done that.
You're excited to hear Mayo is back?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's been one of the guys that, as a player, to have a former player just kind of be a coach, it's just a different dynamic, a little different relationship.
What does he do well, John, as a coach? Like, what makes him a good coach?
A lot. Mayo does a lot of things. I think from my understanding, for me personally, that's just relationship from a player. It's more of a player, you know what I mean? And he has that knowledge from a player's perspective. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Have a good one.
John.